Dr. M. Subbiah is an assistant professor in mathematics in LN Government College, Poneri. He has specialized on statistics interdisciplinary. Being interested in active research program and mathematical or statistical modeling, he has knowledge in operating various softwares on statistical tools and on technical computing. Having 16 years of teaching experience, he has published papers in 8 national and international journals and has also presented papers in 10 national and international conferences.
Welcome to the UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences. So, in the topic of descriptive statistics and probability, today we are going to see the idea of correlation and a specific formula to calculate the correlation through Karl Pearson's formula, moment formula. So, as far as this correlation is concerned, it is a quantitative measure for a bivariate or more than one variable. Generally, we call them it as a multivariate summary measure, because in a statistical perspective, if data is collected and we are able to understand that the problem is involving with more than one variable, precisely speaking we call it as a multivariate data, we may be interested in finding out how far the individual variables are related. So, in that aspect, first of all, to summarize the data, like in a univariate distribution where only one variable is involved, we are looking at a summary measure as a first step to statistical analysis. Likewise, the topic for handling this kind of multivariate analysis as a first step of the analysis where we are dealing with more than one variable, let us try to define what is the meaning of correlation, precisely what is the type of correlations, and one method, but it can be applied for different kind of data grouping, where you can use the raw data as such. Sometime you may have a grouped data for a manual easiness, and how to handle a grouped data in a bivariate form. So, all of them are combined together as Karl Pearson's formula based on the covariance and the standard deviation of two random variables or two variables simply. To start with, as I briefed just now, this is a main difference between univariate consideration and a multivariate distribution. As far as univariate is concerned, where we are interested in only one variable, maybe like average height of male in a population, or average life expectancy in a particular society, average lifetime of a bulb, so on and so forth. So, there are many kind of instances where we are just involving with only one variable, and we may be taking the summary for that, then subsequent analysis. Likewise, situations are not only always dealing with one variable, we may have a chance to handle more than one variable also. For example, attentiveness of students would be based maybe influenced by the nature of subject or the timing of the class, the lectures involvement, and there could be many factors that may involve with a particular problem of interest. That does not mean that we are grouping them as one set of dependent, one set of independent. As far as this presentation is concerned, that difference is not so much important, but we are just collecting a problem where more than one variable is involved in the situation. In that case, what we are trying to focus is to study the change in one or more variables and a quantitative measure of the possible relationship. Before starting the entire mathematical formula or the calculation etc., I would like to specify one issue as far as the third point we observe. The word we coined here is possible relationship. We have to be careful here. So, I would like to put this particular as a caution before we get into the subject. That is nothing but we call it as spurious correlation or spurious relation, in the sense the relationship should be as far as possible very much natural with regard to the problem. Like I mentioned, height and weight which is usually called as a body mass index, where both of them are related. Then IQ and the performance in a particular intelligence test, something like that. So, there must be a natural way of forming a relationship in the given domain of problem. So, there cannot be a situation where people find out a quantitative measure for a given set of number and then they try to produce relationship. For example, the length of the duration of this session and the number of buses plying in the adjacent road. So, these two are, in any case they are not related. So, as far as these relations are concerned, we may be interested in finding out a statistical or a mathematical relation to describe their association, but basically there must be a fact or there must be some hypothesis to connect these two variables or more than one variable. So, this is a very important caution, I could say, before we embark into any kind of such analysis, because I specifically put this word possible relationship, because whether the problem at hand provides a scope to form a relationship, basically height of a father and height of a son. So, this kind of relationship are medically possible relationship. There is a genetical relationship between these two, therefore, we could understand or we could try to find out a relation between these two. So, that is what, if any case we are not able to form a relationship, even in statistical theory we call it a spurious relation or impossible or sometime even nonsensical relationship. It is not possible to do that. And subsequently we are interested in the degree and nature. Nature, we are going to see what kind of nature they are forming the relationship, and finally some mathematical or statistical form of relation. In fact, in this discussion we are mostly related with the degree of relationship, a quantitative measure only, and the nature is not fully discussed in this particular point. Anyway, these headings are, these focus are generally in any multivariate distribution, and we specifically discuss only on correlation. Okay. So, like univariate distribution, here also a basic need to understand their way of relationship through a graphical display, because graphical display is an usual or a useful way of describing or depicting the relationship between or the behavior of the given variable. So, graphical aid or the name of that particular aid will be scatter diagram, or if it is more than two variables in the scale, we can have even scatter matrix, so that each pair of the variables can be combined. So, simply speaking, if I have three variables in my list, then I can have three kind of relationship, three pairs in fact, x y and then x z and then y z. So, all these three pairs can be related or studied, so that we may have a scatter diagram or a scatter matrix to plot and then understand how far they are related, are they close to each other. What we try to do is, as I mentioned, we consider the pair of variables of each pair, of course, then we plot their values. Then such diagram is called a scatter diagram or a scatter matrix, but the problem or the limitation, I could say, it is not a problem. If we have enormously large data points, for example, more than 1000 or 10,000, something like that. So, the word large cannot be described very much strictly, it depends on the situation. So, if you have too much data points where you plot and then all of them are naturally nearing together, they may not portray the exact or they may not depict the exact relationship possibly available in the given system. Therefore, this may not be that much useful when you have extremely higher level of data. So, we have to be careful. At the same time, nothing or very less information can be derived if we have too much too low or very less information, very less data points. Therefore, we must have a balance between these extreme cases. Yeah, this is an example. So, these two variables what I have depicted here is not so difficult to understand. A data set for a illustrative purpose, this collects the day minutes, that means the duration of the user in a mobile phone talking during the daytime. So, it is a data set representing how a mobile user is using the calls and how long he is speaking, he or she, whoever may be. The user is using in the daytime is measured in the minutes and then corresponding the cost. By and large, our common sense says that this minute long duration, if you speak, naturally the cost would be more. So, that is a relation which I expect or which I emphasize in the beginning. There must be a natural tendency to have a relationship based on the problem or context of the problem. We cannot forcibly or we cannot have a statistical relation which will try to give you any impossible relationships. With the data or with our numbers, it is possible to show that these two are related, but it may not be true. But here the example is how much an user is speaking in the day. Of course, the mobile service provider is interested in splitting the day as day, evening and then night, so that there are different plans are available for the nighttime users or daytime users, etc. So, that is a common phenomena today. Therefore, I selected this particular example, and this is a live data for more than 3000 data points, but I restricted for the clarity of presentation. Anyway, this day charge is directly related to the day minutes, that is what picturized here. So, when you increase the time of your speech or the user use in your mobile, which is measured in minutes, naturally you will have a higher tendency to have more cost. So, that is what depicted through this particular thing. So, you could find out almost a straight line fashion of thing. This is what we are going to see in the subsequent slides more technically. Anyway, look at this diagram which shows perfectly a proportionate variables. Of course, it is quite natural. Look at this, I maintain the day charge, but I change the evening calls. So, there is no that much serious pattern, you could say whether this increases and at the same time it decreases and so on and so forth. So, here you see the example, there are few parts here where you could see all the pattern where an user is speaking for a longer duration in the evening, but the day charge is also in a moderate size. So, nothing can be come to a conclusion when you compare to the previous one and this one, where you are having an explicit and direct relation you could derive from this kind of diagram. As far as this particular diagram is concerned, nothing more is directly derivable anyway. There are certain areas where in the middle of this portion and these portions are quite condensed or somewhat showing a relationship, but nothing so immediate to conclude. And this is what I mentioned as matrix. So, earlier we had only two variables, day charge and day minutes. There is no very strict principle which comes in the horizontal and which comes in the vertical, there is no very strict principle, but we can look at the matrix when we have more than one variable. So, as we expected, day minutes and day charge, this is the two, in fact one side is enough, in fact the upper triangle or lower triangle is enough. Anyway, this is extracted from a software. So, I just copied the exact output of that particular software. This shows the day minutes and day charge is related. This diagram shows evening minute and evening charges, and this is night minutes and night charges. All of them are natural as per our expectation, that a simple understanding is, if you use your mobile phone quite long time, then naturally there will be an increase in the cost. That is a quite natural relation. So, sometime maybe due to the certain plan of a particular service provider during night time, even suppose you are using more time on mobile, okay, there may be a reduction of cost. So, there will be a chance to reduce the other variable. So, one variable is increasing, at the same time other variable is likely to decrease. So, very many examples we can talk about. If the presentation if the preparation level is very high, may not be in the duration of the preparation for examination. Let us say I may prepare for 5 hours or 6 hours or 10 hours, then there may be a chance to score better, though we cannot say strictly if you prepare for a long duration of time you have to or you will score better. That may not be a very strict relation, but there could be an association. Okay. So, if we spend long quality hours of preparation, then there may be a chance of scoring high. So, more time, more marks, less time, less marks, increasing, increasing, decreasing, decreasing. Sometime we may have to increase, at the same time we may have a decrease in the particular phenomena. Same mark we can say, if you spend too much of time on an entertainment section, then the marks might come down. So, we can find out any kind of association between the variables. So, what we observe is, in a multivariate distribution, there could be more than one variable, and we are interested in how the variables are trying to depict any possible relationship, in the sense whether one increases, the other increases or not. This kind of relationship can be quantitatively measured. Let us see after a small break. Welcome back after the break. So, in the multivariate data setup, we are interested in looking out the relationship between the association between two meaningful variables. In that sense, we are now ready to define what is the systematic name for that. We call it as correlation. So, whatever we discussed so far with a diagram, we are giving in a descriptive form. So, dependence is any statistical relationship between two variables or unvariables, or simply any two sets of data. So, correlation is a particular term which will refer this kind of relationship which involve the independence of one variable with another variable. Dependence could be meaningful, that every time I try to emphasize. So, as I mentioned just before, the change in one variable try to affect. So, what kind of change? Increase to increase or increase to decrease, and vice versa. Sometime nothing will happen, whatever the one variable gets changed, the other will not. So, these kind of things we are trying to study now. For that, we try to adopt one formula in this particular session, that is by Karl Pearson's coefficient of correlation, which is derived by Karl Pearson in the year 1867 to 1936, that is his period, and during that he has contributed to many things for statistics. One among the contributions is this Karl Pearson formula. Okay. So, as far as the types of correlation is concerned, we just observe that we can have the direction of change. So, a simple and common sense may give the name for that. As we observed, there could be same direction change, increase to increase or decrease to decrease. So, that is called positive correlation. Increase to decrease or decrease to increase, we can have negative correlation. So, this is the direction of the relation. Then second aspect, as far as type of correlation is concerned, there may be simple, only one, partial, there may be more than one, but we are interested in certain group only. Okay. Say for example, we can have a correlation between more than one variable, in the sense we could have the interest of student involved in the class. It may be the subject, it may be the duration of the class, etc. But anyway, for a given schedule, duration of the class is fixed, we are not much changing it. Therefore, that variable is retained as a constant for that particular time of analysis. So, we call it as partial. At the same time, if all the variables are considered together, then we call it as multiple correlation. Then linear and non-linear. For that, I just go back to relate this and some of this. This is very simple example for the term linear, because linear represents a straight line. So, a relation which tries to form a straight line, right, all the points are trying to lie on a straight line fashion, it is called linear. Otherwise, the word is non-linear or curvilinear. So, there are certain examples also specified here, which I talked already: sleeping hours and studying hours, price and demand, and then physical status of parents and their offspring. So, these are all possible relationship where one may be interested whether the degree of relationship is very high or not. The other one, the positive correlation, which I mentioned very clearly in the previous slide also, the length of an iron bar will increase as the temperature will increase. So, sometime there may be a chance to have a negative side. Okay. So, that is what I mentioned. If somebody is interested in a game or entertainment sections, then naturally the concentration on his academic or her academic stride would be reduced. Okay. So, the positive correlation and negative correlation is the systematic, numerical or quantitative measures by which we can understand what is the direction of the change. Then simple correlation, only one. Partial correlation, we can have all, but we may try to consider only one or few. Then multiple, we consider all of them, and linear I mentioned already with the diagram, where the straight line you will have the ratio of change is very much constant, y equal to m x plus c or something from the mathematical perspective, but here it need not be. Therefore, whatever the relation which may not show a straight line pattern, they are all called non-linear. So, this is a very big class of correlation. Okay. So, today we try to see a simple linear correlation and the corresponding formula. So, this is the typical mathematical expression for finding correlation. So, covariance, which is given by this, and these are all very standard notations in the statistics. X bar is the arithmetic mean of x and y bar is the arithmetic mean of y. So, that this covariance is defined by like this. In the denominator, it is the usual univariate statistics called variance of x and variance of y. So, that is a standard deviation of course. So, sigma x and sigma y is the usual symbol for that, but this will be used with x bar and y bar. There are other ways to calculate, these are all for computational purpose, need not be considered as strict formulas derived from these considerations, where I am calculating through simply raw data from given x y and x square, y square and etc. Sometime we may use it dx dy, but these considerations are purely for manual calculations, where the numbers are very large, I may reduce the magnitude etc. Okay. So, that need not be taken very seriously to apply dx dy or xy form. I suggest people work out with calculating machines like a computer or a calculator. I may prefer this particular formula, because manual computation may be little difficult when you have too large values. At that time, the assumed mean can be considered. This is when the data is in a grouped frequency form. So, look at the difference, nothing we have more except the deviations are multiplied by corresponding frequencies. Altogether, the last thing is very much important. Correlation values will always lie between -1 and +1. Interestingly, -1 represents perfect negative correlation. Strictly, our ratio is very much constant. When x increases, y decreases and vice versa. This is perfect positive correlation. When x increases, y increases, or both of them decrease. So, in between r equal to 0, there is no correlation. Therefore, the bound for the correlation, Karl-Pearson correlation will be -1 to +1. I try to use these formulas as well as this in the subsequent examples, where I display what all the computations involved in that. So, let us consider example 1, where I take a simple 5 data set points, and all of them are in an ungrouped fashion. There are 5, and what is the mark they scored. So, interest would be whether the marks in accountancy and statistics are related, vice versa, x is related to y and equivalently y on x. So, both are, we are not strictly speaking that those students who are likely to score accountancy is expected to do in statistics, not in that way, strictly speaking, both bivariate relationship. So, we can have the formula for calculating them. So, I take from mean, therefore, we have x bar and y bar calculated, the deviation x minus 34, and the necessary calculations are done here. We require x minus x bar into y minus y bar, x minus x bar whole square, y minus y bar whole square, and all the totals should be calculated carefully. So, this x column and y column is the only given information. After finding the mean, we are calculating the deviations and calculate the necessary quantities in the last 3 columns, square of each difference and then product of them. So, after computing, here you must be clear that we are using mean as our deviant value. So, after that it is just plugging the values in the respective formula, summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar, this 280, and then x minus x bar the whole square 776, square root of y minus y bar the square, which is 550. So, for convenience sake I have worked out all steps involved in the problem, therefore, R is 0.428. So, what to conclude from that is it shows some positive correlation, but it is not numerically very much closer to 1 or it may not be so much closer to 0. Therefore, we are not very strong enough to say they are highly correlated or something. So, it is just correlated, especially positive correlated. So, direction is plus. So, this example 1 I have described with the values once again pointed out here, and then we consider what to be plugged in. Okay. So, for the quicker summary, I just shrink the table so that you could see the summation and the respective values plotted in the same slide. So, this item, then 776, then 550, all of them are computed to give 428. The second example is not so changed as far as the data is concerned, but the formula is deliberately changed. Here I use the deviation from mean, but here I use the raw data straight away, x y, summation x, summation y, summation x square. These 5 quantities are essentially to be calculated. So, I prepare the table from the given x y, and we are not calculating anything as a deviation value like before. Therefore, it is up to the user to decide which formula is applicable, or it may be easy for the computation. As we observed in the formula, we require the quantities to be calculated. These two columns are given data. We compute x square, y square and product x y, so that you can see quickly from the given numbers 9 square 81, 8 square 64 and so on and so forth, whereas y square 225 and etc. Then 9 into 15, 8 into 16 and etc. up to 1 into 9. So, what we will have to do is adding this summation of each column, whatever we require, summation x, summation y, and all these things we plug them effectively here. So, this is summation of x y and summation of x, summation of y, square of it, and here also, and here the subsequent calculations which will give you 0.950. So, the first example where we have positive, second calculation is also positive. So, one thing to conclude or interpret is whether the correlation is positive or negative. So, that will say the direction, as we observed in the earlier section, earlier slides, whether the correlation is first of all positive or negative. Then as far as the magnitude is concerned, we are not having very strict principles to say which is highly or extremely correlated and so on and so forth. There is no very strict guidelines, but we can take decisions or interpretations based on the given value. As far as 0.4 is concerned, compared to 0.9, it is quite low, but the comparison says both are positive correlated, but the first example is we could say a moderate or less correlated, sometime 0.95 would be very high correlated, but all these things are depend on the context of your problem, because sometime even 0.45 would be better correlation as far as some problems are concerned. So, it is not that much very strict rules to say a set of values are always highly correlated. Then my next example also trying to do some correlation value between two variables, but this time I make this group as interval based data, grouped data, nothing more calculations involved, except if you consider the x series, it is in the interval form. So, I calculate mid value, then I have an x straight away. Okay. So, now I calculated from an assumed mean. So, 3 examples, each of them are trying to apply all the 3 formulas. First one direct formula through covariance, second one is through the raw data, and third one is deviation from any value. Here I use the deviation for 17.5 as far as x is concerned, and for y we consider 50. But anyway, the computations are quite simpler and direct, dx square, dy square and dx dy. So, square of the value and then product of the value. These two are always important, like in the previous case, x square y square x y, dx square dy square dx dy. Again we are plugging them in the respective computations, dx dy, dy square, dx square, then dx, dy, all of them are important. So, their summations we are plugging them the respective value. Minus 106 summation dx is 54 3 into 18 dx into dy and so on so forth. So, here you have a minus, that is a negative correlation, but the value is quite closer to 1. Therefore, we are able to say we have a highly negative correlation. So, both the magnitude and the sign are important, whether it is plus or minus. Summarizing these observations, we have discussed the main difference between the univariate and multivariate. In the case of multivariate distribution, what could be the simple and necessary starting point is to plot the given data points and then understand through a scatter plot or a scatter matrix if it is more than one variable, so that you can understand the relationship between each pair of the variables. Then there is a quantitative measure which we call it as correlation, and a formula to calculate correlation which is due to Carl Pearson. So, 3 formulas which we have applied. As I mentioned, these formulas are designed for direct calculation with the help of computers or a calculator, so that even the large values are not so difficult. For manual calculations, we may be able to reduce the magnitude of the given number by using the deviational values, either by direct method or grouped procedure we can do the job. So, few questions which will help you to calculate correlations, like the first 2 examples and here also with an interval set. So, all of them are providing you some chance to calculate correlation with any of the given 3 formulas. The answers will not very much are extremely different. So, you can try those examples. Thank you for joining the session.